Happy Friday, ambitious readers. Welcome back to another edition of Reading Ambitiously, where every single week we bring you the most powerful ideas that are shaping the world. And I promise to try and simplify these ideas and make that power available to you in the conversations and the leadership that you're providing to your organizations in the week ahead. And we've got a really big idea in store for you this week. So let's go ahead and jump into this week's big idea. The next killer application is AI computer use. And that may sound like a bad idea. Give the AI access to your computer. No, I'm not talking about a new chatbot that you could open up in a browser tab. I'm talking about literally giving the AI access to the actual machine where the knowledge work that you do every day happens. Your browser, the file system, the productivity tools like Microsoft Excel and Word, your inbox, your calendar, and all of the half-finished context that makes modern work feel, well, modern. And that sounds reckless, but it may also be the most logical next step in realizing AI's full potential. And it is a concept called computer use. The AI uses a keyboard and a mouse and a browser and the operating system just like humans do. If AI is to automate knowledge work, it eventually has to get hands-on with the knowledge worker's primary tools. And the strange part is not that this is technically possible, although the first time that you see AI driving around your computer, it's a bit mind-boggling. The strange part is that it may make a lot of sense to let AI operate the machine where the work already happens. And in order to understand why, I think we have to briefly talk about how we got here. Because the Industrial Revolution did not eliminate work, it reorganized work. The labor moved from the farms to the factories, and then from the factories to the offices. The modern knowledge worker was not born in opposition to automation. In many ways, the knowledge work was created by it. And today, the factory floor of knowledge work is the screen. And the machinery is very familiar. It's our inbox, spreadsheets, decks, agendas, tabs, calendar invites, PDFs. This is where most work happens. And who is the dominant provider of the tools for this work? None other than Microsoft, anchored in the Office Productivity Suite and the broader Microsoft 365, which is estimated to have 80% market share, more than 500 million paid seats, and more than $80 billion in annual revenue. Now, Paul Graham once called Microsoft literally a mountain that can walk. And it is this mountain that AI computer use is circling around. It is circling the center of knowledge worker productivity. And this makes a lot of sense because for the last 2.5 years, we have watched the AI move out of the chat window and into the environments where work happens. Let's just pick this year's absolutely killer use case, agentic coding. And what did the AI find? A nearly perfect terrain to move into, including codebases and terminals and tests and GitHub. The AI literally loves the software development lifecycle. But knowledge work, it's a lot messier than that. It doesn't have the cleaner, more structured world of the software development lifecycle. What does it have? It has the computer. It has your desktop. And the first wave of products that are going to do this are already here. Now, for decades, productivity software assumed that humans push the buttons. We open the applications, we write the words, we attach the file, we update the spreadsheet. AI computer use allows the AI to press the buttons. Humans still supply the desired outcome, but the AI performs as many of the steps as it can. And in the written edition of today's Reading Ambitiously, there is a great video of Claude Cowork, because I think that's a very good example. It moves from the prompt window to start working across your files, your browser, your folder, your applications to complete tasks autonomously. Anthropic describes Cowork as bringing Claude's agentic capabilities to non-technical work, giving Claude access to your local files and letting it complete tasks inside of the desktop environment. And there are many other examples of products like this, including Perplexity Computer and Factory's Droid, OpenClaw, and Hermes. And just while I was writing this piece, Manus, which was acquired by Meta, launched their competitor, literally called cloud computer for Manus. These are different products, but they are the same idea. Move the AI into an always on position and into the place where knowledge work happens. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we wrote about this idea of a harness. A 2x and a 100x user can be using the exact same AI model, but the difference is the harness. The harness is the program that wraps the model and helps it do useful work. A good harness, it gives the model good context, good tools, good memory management. It helps decide what goes into the context window and when it should be introduced, which is a concept we call progressive disclosure. It decides what the model should handle and what should be routed to a more deterministic software set. With a good harness, the AI can make better decisions to achieve high, accurate, quality outcomes. Let's pick an example. Arithmetic. It literally makes zero sense to ask the AI to reinvent arithmetic when a deterministic calculator already exists. The AI should know to use the calculator. It should know when to query the database. It should know when to use the browser. It should know when to ask the human for approval. That is the difference between a model with access to tools and a system that actually knows how to and can generate outcomes. The model is very useful for things, though, like judgment and reasoning and synthesis. Deterministic tools, though, are much more useful for precision, queries, and calculations, essentially workflows where the same input should produce the same output every single time. The worst systems confuse these two things, and they hallucinate. And they ask the model to do things like arithmetic, which it should not be doing. They force it to reason through tasks that should have been handled by deterministic software. The best systems will push the intelligence and the know-how into the skills and push the actual execution into the tool sets that are deterministic and precise to get the same outcome every time. I know this is technical, but it's important to understand that this is why AI computer use is so important. It is helping the AI become a part of the system that is at the heart of the knowledge workers environment. And having access to that system will allow the AI to help you actually get the work done. Now, if you take this premise to be true, then the product is a lot more than the model. And the next question you should be asking is, where is the intellectual property? It could live in the harness, which is the tooling and the memory and the permissions. It could live in the skills, which are the reusable procedures that encode how work gets done. Could definitely live in the proprietary data sets that teach the model what right looks like. It could live in the integrations so that the system has the ability to touch the systems it needs to drive outcomes. And it definitely lives in the tacit knowledge that gets captured over time, your deep understanding of the domain, your secret sauce. But none of this is traditional software IP. Traditionally, software IP, the crown jewels, are the code. We literally lock those up in a safe. Our customers ask us to put them in escrow. This isn't code. This is institutional knowledge that augments the intelligence of the model. Something like a skill, which is a reusable procedure. It captures the process and the context required to perform a task. The user supplies the specific request, and then the skill supplies the method. Imagine a skill for investigating a company. It might tell the model to pull filings or build a timeline or compare management commentary, identify contradictions, summarize both sides. That same skill could then be applied to a different company. The procedure stays the same, but the world changes. This is not prompt engineering. It's essentially software design in a language that large language models understand. And if the AI can help perform the work, observe the pattern, codify the process, well, then the ability to achieve the work and the workflow that you've designed becomes an asset. And that asset, very well, a key piece of intellectual property in the form of something like a skill. Now, by now, you have likely formulated an opinion on whether you are going to give AI access to your computer. My hunch is that most of you are saying hell no. Now, you could go buy a computer and give it to your AI. That's what I'm doing. And that is the reason that the base M4 Mac Mini has recently been unavailable on Apple's online store. And TechCrunch reported that there are Mac Minis appearing on eBay amid demand for machines that people can use for their AI. But giving AI access to your computer, it's not a small permission. It's literally like giving a junior employee your laptop and your badge and your password and telling them to go log in, help you get your job done. That employee might be capable, but they also might upload your private photos to LinkedIn on accident. They could expose sensitive data or click the wrong button. In the human world, what do? We manage that risk with roles and permissions, audit trails, supervision. In security, we have ideas like zero trust, which starts from a similar premises. We literally assume zero trust because someone or something is inside the system. We verify access, we limit permissions, we require the right approvals. We never trust, we always verify. Maybe that sounds unglamorous, but AI will need something along these lines in the form of trust machinery for both consumer and enterprise use. And this is a big reason that enterprise incumbents have a leg up. And I don't think it's being discussed enough. They've already built much of the machinery that makes software usable in real companies. Microsoft has identity management. Salesforce has workflow and audit trails. ServiceNow has business processes. At Ridgeline, we've spent years building out domain-specific entitlements and what we call instance authorization, meaning you're only able to see what you're permissioned to see and controls. If we give the AI access to the computer, we are only going to certainly raise the bar on this trust machinery because the AI is not just going to use the computer. It has to use the computer as someone with specific roles, specific set of permissions, boundaries about what it can and cannot do. Without that, I'm not sure you'll ever be able to trust this stuff. Just be a very impressive prototype. What's going on right now is that we are going from the ChatGPT era to now the Claude Code agentic coding era to what I think is next, which is this personal assistant, automating the knowledge worker era, computer use. And we're going to go from having productivity tools to supervising the AI doing the work. The knowledge workers' current tools, they gave us humans the ability to do the work. They allowed us to create documents and spreadsheets and slides and email and calendars and chat with our colleagues. But the new productivity layer may use all these tools too. It may not replace Excel. It may use Excel. It may not replace Outlook. It may use Outlook. And that is a strategic tension for Microsoft and the second largest player in this space, Google. They may be mountains, but the terrain around them could be changing pretty quickly. And the question is not whether AI gets added to productivity software. It literally will. And the Google Doc that I wrote this week's edition in literally has a Gemini prompt box inside of the editor. The primary question is whether the knowledge workers' tools will remain the place where work happens, or will they become the surface on which AI operates? For decades, that was a pretty simple answer. You'd learn how to use this software, and then you'd press all the buttons and click all the keys yourself. You'd produce the work, and then you'd share it. But the next model may be different. You may describe the outcome, watch the system work using your computer and approve what matters, and then share it. From pushing the buttons yourself to supervising the work. And in order to do it, you may have to give AI access to your computer to get there, which I think is a pretty exciting yet risky predicament. But perhaps it is the next killer application for AI. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Ambitious readers, it's my pleasure to be with you every single week. I look forward to being with you again next week. Please do take care of each other.